This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
My partner in Historic Crimes, Michelle Martin, comes to us many Wednesday mornings with stories of some terrific history around Kansas. And she is my co-author on Kansas Forts and Bases. I'm so proud of this book. And when Michelle and I thought about this, I actually called her and said, I want to do a book on Kansas Forts and Bases. Will you help me? Because I thought, man, she can do all the hard work. So we sat in my living room, made a list of all the forts and bases we could think of, and then split the list. And we had to fight over a few. Of course, one of the ones that she really wanted to do was Fort Scott. And she's sharing some of that incredible history with us this morning.
Good morning, Deb, and good morning to all our viewers. When I first moved to Kansas, one of the first places I visited was the historic community of Fort Scott. Today, let's learn more about Fort Scott National Historic Site and the crack post of the frontier.
Fort Scott, once described as the crack post of the frontier by its architect, Captain Thomas Swords, was constructed in 1842. During its lifetime, the fort was charged with keeping the peace along the permanent Indian frontier line, stopping illegal settlement in Indian Territory, and escorting settlers and wagon trains along the Santa Fe and Oregon trails. By the late 1840s, increased Western settlement rendered the fort obsolete in the eyes of the military. The fort's buildings, eventually sold at auction, became the nucleus of the community of Fort Scott. During the Bleeding Kansas era, the town of Fort Scott was divided over the issue of slavery. The grounds and buildings of the old fort were scenes of unrest and bloodshed. When Kansas entered the Union as a free state in 1861, the fort's buildings once again saw military use. The fort served as a supply hub for the Union Army in the West, a hospital, and a refugee station for those fleeing from the conflict and seeking freedom from slavery. Fort Scott also played an important role in recruiting and training African American and American Indian men for military service during the Civil War. The 1st Kansas Colored Infantry and the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Regiments of Indian Home Guards were mustered into service at Fort Scott. After the close of the war, the military once again left Fort Scott. The buildings and military equipment were sold, the hospital was closed, and soldiers sent home. For a brief time from 1870 to 1873, the Army returned to Fort Scott to settle disputes between railroad developers and settlers. Today, Fort Scott is a unit of the National Park Service, and visitors can see 20 historic structures, the parade ground, soldiers' barracks, officers' row, laundress quarters, a bakehouse, the quartermaster's supply, and stables. Living history interpreters at the site bring the people and stories of the fort to life for visitors each year during events like the Civil War encampment and living history events held on Memorial Day, Good Old Days, July 4th, Labor Day, and the annual Candle Light Tour. Fort Scott is a historic treasure that connects us to the past and helps us learn about the conflicts and compromises that created the place we call Kansas.
When you want to take a historic Kansas road trip, don't forget to visit Fort Scott National Historic Site and tell them Deb and Michelle sent you. I hope you'll join me next time for another historical adventure somewhere around Kansas.
Our most precious gift to one another is our time, and it means a lot to me that you spend your time with me every Wednesday. Thanks so much. Have a great week, and I'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.